Good afternoon once again. We are very sorry for the internet connection problem and technical difficulties in pursuing this field study orientation. And so, as I was saying, it has been said that almost anyone can become a teacher, but it takes a special person to be a great one. Um, we'll just proceed without showing the videos to save time. And I have stated also that no matter how troublesome and problematic the students that you've observed on the field, they are still the center of the educative process. And everything you do and everything you observe and you are going to do in the field will still revolve around their welfare. Okay, so then again, before we proceed with the orientation, let us clarify few terminologies that you are going to encounter and are still encountering upon the conduct of this deployment activity. Una, classroom-based action research or CBAR. This is a kind of research that is participatory by nature, and you are going to be immersed while conducting and observing this research. And this will be part of your FS 101, the development of its proposal. Coaching and mentoring. Coaching and mentoring is the nature of both FS 100 and FS 101. So it is not observation of classroom um, classroom lectures or classroom sessions. So that's why kung isa lang ka klase ang maobserbahan ninyo sa isa ka duty per day, that is still counted because it's not the ends of the observation of or deployment activity. You have to follow your cooperating teacher or the teacher assigned to you to check and to verify whether your lesson plans, assessment, IMs are correct or not. So it does not really matter on how many hours of classroom observation you have per day, because that is just a part of this deployment activity. College supervisors refers to your instructor in either FS 100 or FS 101. Cooperating school or host training agencies, also known as cooperating school, are, are the schools where you are deployed at. Teacher education institution refers to the Institute of Education and Teacher Training, the one who developed the curriculum and the one who deployed field study students and interns to the cooperating schools. Moving on, cooperating teachers. Cooperating teachers are the teachers who are assigned with student teachers or teacher interns. So since this semester there are no student teachers yet, that's why the cooperating teachers are known and must be regarded as resource teachers. But they both mean the same. They are the teachers who are on the field assigned with students from AYET. Experiential learning courses refers to FS 100 and FS 101. These are courses that deploy students on the field for experience. Okay? So these are the kind of courses that lets the student experience and be immersed with the field that they will be working with someday. Field study courses, both FS 100 and FS 101, are experiential learning courses. Okay? Field study students, ito yung um, tawag sa inyo na mga students on the field right now. Learning Delivery Modality, LDM. LDM is the method of teaching in the field. May it be modular, may it be face-to-face, or blended. Lahat ng yan ang tawag learning delivery modality. It is the way of how learning is delivered to the students. So most essential learning competencies. These are competencies taken from the K to 12 curriculum. Some of them are compressed, some of them are selected, and these are the learning competencies that are crucial for the students to master. So it's like a congested or a packaged K to 12 curriculum. Okay, so these MELCs, if I were right, um, was created due to the need in the pandemic period. Until now, pandemic pa rin naman. Pre-service teachers are teachers of HEI, or the Institute of Education and Teacher Training, that are considered third years or fourth years. FS students are still considered pre-service teachers because these are students who prepare in the field of teaching. Now, portfolio. Portfolio is the final output for the field study courses. So, all field study courses under the education department must create a portfolio at the end of the semester. Okay, based on DepEd Order number 3, series of 2007, what are the duties of field study student? First, you have to take the field study courses congruent to the professional education subject. In your case, both FS 100 and FS 101. Second, when you are deployed on the field, you have to observe proper decorum and behavior, and also um, be punctual and polite when you are on the field. Also, accomplish the requirements of the course as scheduled. In addition, still based on that DepEd Order number 3 series of 2007, I use I put this here because your curriculum is a different one compared from the previous, because some of the tasks for the STs before are now given to FS students right now, like limited participation in the classroom. So I believe these duties need to be clear to everybody. Number one, participate actively in school-related activities. Like if naa sila'y flag ceremony, you participate as well. If naa sila'y program or or month-long celebration, you also facilitate and participate as well. However, make sure to prioritize the tasks and outputs to be created for the course. Next, notify the cooperating teacher in case of absences, especially na limited ang time nyo sa field. So one absence may mean that you have to make up duty for that one, because upon computation, ang time frame is just enough lang to cover the 120 hours needed on the field. Next, consider and be open to constructive criticisms because it will help you grow as a teacher. Expect that you will commit a lot of mistakes because this is your first time to experience the field of teaching. And it won't go well, it won't go similar to your demo teaching online or in the classroom. Then respect the dignity and rights of the children. Make sure to handle data and concerns of the children with utmost confidentiality. Okay? As much as possible, do not post their names on social media. Do not post their pictures on the social media because considering their age, they are still minors. And based on the laws of the Philippines, you have to protect them as much as possible because they're still part of the vulnerable group. So avoid posting their pictures on social media. Then, come prepared at all times. Also, secure clearance from the cooperating school, not only after the duty or the deployment activity um, concluded, but also secure clearance upon exiting the school during emergencies. Yung ibang school, they let the FS students fill out the pass slip for before they can go out of the premises. Next, accomplish the internship or FS portfolio. Then, project a good image as a teacher at all times by observing the code of ethics, proper dress code, and punctuality at all times. So those are the general duties of FS students. Okay, I hope everything is clear, and I hope if you have questions, you can just register it on the comment section. Violations. Okay, by the way, these violations are still based on the same DepEd order. So any act of gambling, theft, and other similar illegal acts is violated, and everything you see in here will be um, a ground for expulsion. So submitting forged or fraudulent documents, any act in violation of the DOrSU rules and regulations, any act of violation of the host training institution or the cooperating school rules and regulations in accordance with the internship or FS program, and also any act in violation of the laws of the country. I hope this field study matrix is clear to everybody. Now, these are the actual activities that you have to undertake, and also the actual outputs, the major outputs that you have to complete for the field study 100 and field study 101. Let's start with the field study 100. Okay? Ang major output, number one, classroom methodologies compilation. So in this output, you are expected to observe classes and interview your resource teacher. Ask the methods she used on the class, and also you can identify the competency or the topic where that method is being used. You can also identify the pros and the cons of using that method. So it's up to the instructor what specific data is he or she requiring for that output. Pero in terms of template and format, every output for the field study 100 and 101 is personalized. So it's up to the student to develop their own template, develop their own designs, as long as the right data is present on every output. Next, student profiling. Ask your instructors what are the needed data to be present in the student profiling output. And with that, use that as a guide to develop your own template and to present your own output under this area. Same with anecdotal records and reflection. Next, class routines. In the class routine, you are still going to interview your resource teacher or your cooperating teacher, and you're still going to observe classes. So in here, you are going to develop a timetable or the schedule of your observation as well as the classes you observe and the time for you to conduct your other activities inside the school. The second one is strategy banking. Similar with the classroom methodologies compilation, in here you are going to compile strategies. Strategies example in giving class rules. What are the class rules of the teacher? What are the class routines she is utilizing in the classroom? Few examples are distributing papers, submission of papers, checking of attendance. Uh, these are some of the examples of routines that the teacher utilized inside the classroom. And then you do some reflection out from it. Fourth one, preparation of instructional materials. In here, you are going to develop support materials. Example, bulletin board, classroom corner. If there is no bulletin board or classroom corner to be developed, you develop activity sheets. So it depends on the situation of the classroom, or it depends on the need for of the cooperating teacher. So in here, you develop support material and ask your instructor, your FS instructor, what data is he or she requiring, since bulletin board can't be put in your portfolio. So perhaps picture siguro ang need niya, but it depends from instructor to instructor. And also, you develop reflection out from the development of these materials. Lastly, dili pa din ni last. Next is class activities. So you document the class activities that you've observed, you interview the teacher, and out from this one, you collect the activities that the teacher used in his or her teaching for a specific topic. Because who knows, someday, when you are going to teach that topic, you might as well use that activity that you have recorded out from your cooperating teacher or resource teacher. And then you are going to you make a reflection on the hybrid teaching learning modality. It refers to concurrent methodology that utilizes both module and face-to-face instruction. Next, moving on to assessment. So just like what I have discussed in the orientation in every school, or the other instructors that discussed in your school, as a minimum of 10 traditional assessment tool and 10 alternative assessment tool must be developed by the FS student for FS 100. With the format of this alternative assessment tool depends on your teacher, the resource teacher on the field. And also the traditional assessment, the format is universal man jud na. So follow what you've learned in class. And by that, it means that you develop also the table of specifications and the questionnaires and the answer key afterward. Also in FS 100, you need to learn how to fill out school forms. So there are a lot of school forms that teachers on the field nowadays are using. So learn to fill out them, how to fill them out, and also um, do not use the actual data out from the students. Just like what I've said in here, you can use dummy data. Like say for example, pseudonames, or kanang just pseudo age, or it's up to you how you label this data. Meaning, it's a make-believe data kumbaga. Then, do a reflection out from making these forms. Then, networking and linkages. In FS 100, you are expected to attend at least 3 webinars and other relevant professional activities. So, 3 certificates are needed in your FS 100. With dili pa apil ani ang kadtong certificate sa completion sa FS 100 and FS 101, because at the end of this deployment you will be given a certificate also. Wala toy labot. Lahi ni siyang certificate nga gipangayo diri. For FS 101, the first area is assessment. So in here, you develop a, a traditional assessment tool, but unlike in FS 100, you are going to implement or administer this assessment tool. So just like what you can see on the screen right now, you document the administration of this assessment tool. You conduct item analysis on the result, and also you identify if this test that you have created is reliable or not. And you can do that by using Kuder-Richardson or Cronbach Alpha. Bahalag dili ka ng show your solutions. Bahalag screenshot lang sa Excel or SPSS na gigamit ninyo to solve the reliability of this test. So after which, you revise and repackage the assessment tool depending on the result of this test, and also make a reflection and afterwards. And if you've noticed, almost all of the areas kay nag-require og reflection. That is because it is an experiential course, and your experience are usually reflected on your reflections. So reflections are essential part of the portfolio. So, in the preparation of IMs, you've heard this during orientation for those schools that we have conducted orientation already. So, you develop IMs for the classes. Okay? So, in here, your IMs may be used by your cooperating teacher or resource teacher, or if nana sila IM, they may opt not to use that one. So what you do is just you collect these IMs because who knows, someday it will be useful to you. And also you collect them because you need to document those IMs as part of your portfolio. Next, class activities. In here, you are going to facilitate different class activities that you've observed. So, just like what I've said in the orientation, that FS students can be tasked to facilitate an activity for the class, but not to teach the whole class. Okay? So, dili pa man mo allowed nga magtudlo from start to finish, even if naadira ang critic teacher nga nag-observe, kay dili pa man mo estis. Pwede mo suguon pag-facilitate og isa ka activity, pwede mo mag-facilitate og isa ka assessment or laboratory activity, pero dili gyud pwede magtudlo og klase. Maybe tutorial pwede na siya. Kanang small group or micro teaching kung baga. Or reading activity because usually need na karon sa field. Yon. So you have to document those activities and you conduct reflection afterwards. Next one, second to the last, is the demo teaching. What's required for the demo teaching is your documentation, may it be pictures or video, your lesson plan that you've used for the demo teaching, your IM that you've used for the demo teaching, the rating sheet, which will be given to you by the FS supervisor. Actually, these rating sheet will be, you can get this from your FS supervisor. Kay siya man magdala ani upon observation sa time nga mag-demo ka. So, duha ka rating sheet, ang isa sa supervisor, ang isa sa resource teacher. And last but not the least, you develop a classroom-based action research. Regarding sa template or format sa classroom-based action research, depende na siya sa inyuhang instructor. Siya ang maghatag sa format sa classroom-based action research. Pero nasabutan sa mga instructors that we are going to adapt the format or the template that is from the DepEd. So, pwede mo mangayo sa inyong instructors sa ilahang sa sample para maka-follow mo sa template. Kana. By the way, clarify nako, ang portfolio outputs kay wala siya template, personalize ang pag-develop sa portfolio outputs as long as the required data or information is in there. So yan. Then, upon compilation of the output, we have decided na uniform ang pagka-soft-bound o ang cover sa mga FS portfolio. Lahi ang portfolio for FS 100, lahi ang portfolio sa FS 101. Even if na ay mga areas nga similar ang entries. For example, ang imuhang uh, ang imuhang introduction sa sa portfolio sa FS 100 might be similar with FS 101. Ngano mas similar man siya kay pareho ra man na siya nga kanang unified experiences, pareho ra nga assigned school, pareho ra nga VMGO, pareho ra nga organizational chart, pareho ra nga campus and facilities. So, ang magkalahian ra gyud sa portfolio sa FS 100 nimo og FS 101 kay kaning number 6 og number 5. Kay ang number 5 sa FS 100 certificate lang sa FS 100. Sa portfolio sa FS 101 na dito ang certificate sa FS 101. Og ang number 6 lahi nga mga outputs ang i-compile sa FS 101 o sa FS 101 lahi pod siya. So, yun. And the rest, almost similar na lang siya tanan. So, hapit ko makalimot, mag-ason ta ko kung ay pangutana, pre-recorded raman din nga video. So, I'm expecting questions or clarifications from you sa comment section. By the way, before we end our orientation, I would like to clarify nga ang duty sa FS sa bawat school mag-start kung kanus-a mag-start ang school, ang klase, anang eskwelahana. Kung ang mga teacher mag-start og time in 7:30, FS students should also time in 7:30. Kung mag-out ang teachers og 4:30, mag-out pod si FS student og 4:30. Kay counted man ang inyuhang time from start from start in the morning up to the end sa afternoon. Dili kay kanang ang time lang nga inyong observation kay time lang sa klase sa teacher. Kay dili lang man observation ang nature sa FS courses, kundi mentoring ang nature niya. So since mentoring man, naamo didto even if walay klase ang teacher, even if ang iyang klase kay lain nga subject, magbuhat gihapon mo aning mga outputs sa FS sulod sa school campus. Klaro, unya ang inyong buhaton ana kay mag-ask og kanang inputs from the resource teacher or cooperating teacher kung tama ba inyong gibuhat during those times nga wala na mo nag-observe og klase. Kay wala ta for monitoring purposes, gina-disallow ang mga FS student nga maglabas-labas any time of the day kay ang expected sa ilaha they are on the school during duty periods. Except na lang sa mga days nga expected nga dili mo mag-duty because you have classes in CSA. So I hope klaro na siya sa bawat FS student. So, final note, before we end the orientation, FS supervisors may give additional worksheet or module to supplement these outputs. They can also conduct field observations, especially kaning FS supervisor sa FS 101. Also, every FS teacher or instructor may have different grading scale or grading system for every output sa FS100 or FS101, even if similar lang ang output ninyo. Kay lahi-lahi man sila nga teacher, lahi-lahi sila og standard or kanang grading system or rating scale. So that is the possibility. So these outputs and these areas of FS 100 and 101 is taken and modified from Joint CHED and DepEd Memorandum Number 1 Series of 2021. It has been modified because this is the latest memorandum for the field study, and it is meant for most of the activities in here is meant for online teaching or online deployment. But right now, since we are having face-to-face classes, why not utilize these areas and modify it into face-to-face endeavor? That would be all for this orientation. Have a nice day, everybody.